I remember pulling up to that familiar dirt path after 3 long years away, my heart pounding with the kind of excitement you feel when you're finally coming home, dust kicking up behind my old truck as the sun dipped low over Crystal Lake, painting everything in that golden glow that screams peace and family memories. The water lapping gently against the shore like a whispered promise of rest after endless nights under foreign stars. But what I found instead shattered it all in an instant. This woman, Karen Whitaker, had swooped in like some twisted villain from a bad dream, claiming my family's multi-million-dollar lakeside paradise as her own, slapping up a fancy $2,000 automated barrier that blocked the way, and even extorting my aging neighbors with $50 passes just to see their grandkids splash in the water they'd known for decades, her audacity turning simple visits into transactions, as if the lake's joy was now her commodity to sell. She'd transformed my grandpa's humble gravel trail into this pretentious enclave called Pinecrest Heights, complete with phony marble columns and prying lenses aimed straight at my old cabin's panes. As if I was the intruder in my own legacy, the cameras glinting like accusatory eyes in the fading light, capturing every shadow as potential evidence against me. The moment I eased to a stop, this mechanical voice barked out demands for a resident pin, treating me like some shady outsider, and then there she was, zooming down in her shiny cart, shades perched high, screeching about trespassing on her turf, her voice laced with that fake politeness that masks pure venom, her hands gesturing wildly as if to shoo away a stray dog. And I just sat there, calm as could be, rolling down the glass to flash my deed, the one with Grandpa's scrawled name from back in '87, when life was simpler and land meant roots, not schemes, watching her expression twist from smug to sheer panic, because deep down, she knew the storm was brewing, her carefully constructed facade cracking under the weight of undeniable truth. What would you do if some stranger tried to snatch your ancestral ground while you were out there risking everything for the flag? Tell me in the comments where you're tuning in from. Let's share these battles. Let me rewind a bit and lay it out for you. How this nightmare unfolded while I was worlds away. The memories of Grandpa's calloused hands building that cabin flashing through my mind like old film reels, each frame heavy with the love and sweat that made it more than just wood and nails. I'm Jake Harlan, a 34-year-old Marine specialist fresh off a grueling 3-year stint abroad, building bridges under fire in the dusty hell of distant lands, the constant hum of danger in my ears, sand in every crevice, and letters from home my only tether to sanity. And in my absence, Karen Whitaker, this 52-year-old fresh off a bitter split, had orchestrated the boldest land grab I'd ever imagined, her anger boiling over like a storm cloud ready to burst, her eyes probably narrowing with calculation as she eyed our untouched paradise. Grandpa had snagged this 40-acre gem back in 1987 for a steal at 12 grand. 800 feet of untouched Crystal Lake shore where the water shimmered like diamonds, a slice of heaven you could actually grasp without breaking the bank or your spirit, the pines whispering secrets in the wind, the soil rich with the promise of endless summers. He'd hammered together our family retreat. Himself, those beams still etched with his rough sketches, echoing with summers of barbecues, holiday cheers, and endless debates over who reeled in the fattest base, the worn rails on the deck. Telling tales of generations leaning into the breeze, sharing secrets and laughs, the scent of fresh cut wood lingering in my nostrils even now, a reminder of how he'd pour his soul into every joint and nail. When he passed amid my tour, he willed it all to me, papers solid as steel, my dream spot for hanging up the boots post-service, but duty called, IDs didn't wait, so I couldn't drop everything to babysit the place from halfway across the globe, my mind often wandering back to the lake's calm during those tense patrols, imagining the loon's calls as a balm for the chaos. That's when Karen entered the scene, fleeing the city lights of St. Paul after her hubby bolted for his office fling, clutching her payout like a lifeline, hell-bent on remaking our quiet corner into her vision of upscale snobbery, her arrival marked by the rumble of moving trucks and the immediate complaints from locals about her haughty demeanor. She snapped up this eyesore of a mansion, a blocky behemoth perched on a man-made mound, flipping the bird to every cozy shack around it. Its stark lines clashing with the natural curves of the hills, and before long, the reek of her pricey sod chemicals was smothering the wild blooms that had thrived there forever, turning vibrant meadows into manicured monotony. Crystal Lake had always been that neighborly haven, where folks pitched. And without a second thought, dock fixes came with cold ones and camaraderie. Septic woes got group funded, no tolls, no red tape. Just good old trust holding it together, the kind of community where doors stayed unlocked and favors flowed freely. But Karen? She crowned herself Queen Bee, starting with optional path upkeep charges on what had been public rural Route 12 forever. Her luxury ride rumbling at dawn like a warden on patrol, jotting infractions in her little notebook, her presence casting a shadow over morning coffees and casual chats. Then came her master ploy. While I was dodging threats overseas, she sweet-talked some clueless county admin into dubbing our family lane her exclusive gateway, planting that high-tech blockade right at my boundary. Turning Grandpa's path into her gated fiefdom, slapping tolls on lifelong locals like they were tourists, the barrier's beep echoing like a toll on freedom itself. What boiled my blood most was her spreading whispers that I'd perished in action, convincing folks my spread was forsaken, even leading buyer tours, sketching out how to carve it up for profit, as if erasing our history was just business, her voice dripping with false sympathy as she pointed out prime lots where our family picnics once unfolded. Arriving home, I braced for dust and quiet welcome, but instead found locks swapped, heirlooms shoved in the barn, eyes watching every move like I was the crook, the invasion feeling like a violation of not just property, but the very soul of our lineage. She'd spent years chipping away at my birthright, convinced her plot was foolproof, but tangling with a battle-hardened builder's inheritance? That's a one-time blunder she'd regret, the fire in my chest building. Slowly, fueled by memories of Grandpa's stories around the fire pit. 3 sunrises after uncovering the mess, a stiff envelope landed in what was now her gaudy management hub, reeking of her overdone scent, packed with pages of invented legalese that could have fooled a novice, each line dripping with entitlement. Karen demanded $3,600 in back association dues, tacked on a $500 barrier, setup tab, and $200 for spotting my illegal builds, invoking some state community statute like she was judge and jury, threatening liens if I didn't cough up in 10 days flat, her words leaping off the page like barbs aimed at my resolve. The breakdown was laughable. Grandpa's shed a rogue structure, his compost heap a toxin threat, fine stacking for months I was gone, to a group that never was, the absurdity almost comical if it wasn't so infuriating. Most might freak, lawyer up, toss and turn, but service drilled in recon before rash moves, so I dove in curious, not furious. Haunting the county archives for a week, the musty scent of aged ledgers becoming my ally as I unraveled her deceit, flipping through yellowed pages under flickering lights, each discovery a thread. Pulling her web apart. Turns out her self-made realm lacked any state filing. You can't just proclaim presidency over thin air, like ruling a ghost town and taxing spirits, her authority as flimsy as the cheap paper she printed her demands on. That route switch. Botched, no public alert as mandated, a sneaky slide past oversight like a fairground hustler, the clerk's admission coming with a sheepish shrug that only fueled my determination. Digging into her deeds revealed the desperation. Her split mandated her home stay valued over $400,000 for ongoing support, dip below, and the checks dried up, and lake views could hike worth by 15 to 30%. Her fixation on my shores suddenly crystal clear, not greed alone, but survival panic fueling the frenzy, her life unraveling like a poorly tied knot. The more I probed, the uglier it got. She'd pocketed $2,100 monthly from 7 households. No trace of upkeep funds, pure siphoning masked as stewardship, her accounts as empty as her promises. Armed with Grandma's cookie batch, I canvassed doors, piecing truths. Karen had sold Agnes Finley, our sweet elder, on my demise, nearly snagging a deed buyout for peanuts under community care. Agnes's trembling hands recounting the pressure over tea, her eyes wide with remembered fear. Dave Larkin from the tackle store heard tales of my land turning parkland, his business suffering from the ripple effects of her control. Agnes teared up, handing over files of Karen's bid to snag my title cheap, forged forms fresh off a printer, her confusion nearly costing her autonomy. Saved by her paralegal kin spotting the con, the envelope's contents spilling out like confessions in the dim kitchen light. Returning that night, orange warnings dotted my woods, even nailed to Dad's old oak fort, cameras breeding like pests, and a bogus threat report to the law. All fiction since our sole chat was deed through window, the violation stirring a quiet rage that echoed Grandpa's warnings about standing firm. Enough games. Time to unleash a strategic strike she'd never see coming. My plan forming in the shadows of the cabin, blueprints of justice drawn in my mind. If I figured Karen's bully playbook was tapped out, boy was I mistaken. This cornered schemer had guzzled too many drama shows, turning online into her battlefield like a keyboard warrior gone rogue, her posts popping up like weeds in a neglected garden. Days after my archive raid, my device lit up with alerts. She'd birthed a Pinecrest Heights forum, pinning me in a post that spiked my fury, a doctored clip making my arrival look assaultive, caption wailing about a volatile ex-service menace, racking comments from strangers feigning worry, emojis weeping false sympathy while flags waved hypocritical pride, the digital mob forming as if on cue. But ops taught me con slip when cocky, so while she played digital overlord, I rigged my grounds with hidden cams, snagging gold in hours. Her crew dumping junk on my beach, treating it like her dump, the footage clear as day under the moon's gaze, and her extorting launch fees from anglers, 20 a pop, for what was always open waters, her makeshift booth screaming eco-fund, while cash vanished into her bag, fishermen grumbling as they paid up. Scope widened to her billing sham, $12,000 in ghost services like legal chats and green audits, all funneled to her yard bling. Her feeds bragging gazebos and exotic trees bought with pilfered dough, the irony thick as the fog rolling off the lake. The heartbreak hit hard. 3 clans teetered on foreclosure from her invented tolls. Dave double-mortgaged his shop for her emergency fixes. Agnes skimping meals to meet phony fines. This wasn't theft anymore. It was communal ruin by a fraud queen, their stories shared over shared fences, tears mixing with resolve. My pushback rallied the savvy transplants, Emily and Chris Donovan, lawyer duo with a getaway spot nearby, who'd sleuthed association rules and found zilch legal footing, silenced till now by her Sioux threats, their eyes lighting up as we plotted in their cozy den. Dave confided amid minnow scents and creaky floors that sales plunged 40% postgate, city anglers fleeing her grilling, his voice cracking with frustration over lost livelihoods. County ears perked at access gripes, tolling public waves as legit as air tickets. Commissioner Susan Reeves eyeing votes, suddenly eager to untangle knots, her office calls coming like lifelines. The pivot twist surfaced scanning her. Taxes, split clauses tied support to $400,000 valuation, her pad scraping $398,000 recent, deadline looming. My shore her lifeline to inflate worth, desperation not dominance driving the mad dash. Her facade crumbling in the document's cold facts. Home that eve, her sabotage peaked, blinding beams strobing my rest, chemical whiffs killing Grandpa's blooms, poisoning our heritage in her bid to break me, the dead patches in the meadow like scars on my soul. No more dodging, time to counter with precision force. But Karen doubled down, nuclear style, her empire cracking under pressure. Her moves growing erratic like a trapped animal lashing out. Certified mail hit, her sham LLC claiming $8,900 lien for stacked breaches, glossy with phony seals, citing statutes like a pro. Yet pure bluff, the paper trembling slightly in my grip as I read. Hours later, Eco Agency rang about Grandpa's septic hazard, inspection looming, fines dangling, the call's tone shifting my gears to high alert. Then the rage igniter, my base CO calling, baffled by her PTSD smears, urging checks before harm, twisting vet struggles into weapons, lower than dirt, the betrayal hitting like a gut punch in the quiet night. The court doesn't tolerate civilian meddling. Link me to JAG. Captain Maria Lopez fuming at the libel. Zero mercy for stigma exploiters. Her voice over the line. Steel sharp with indignation. While she role-played Shrink, I teamed with Emily, her office brewing strategy amid Java and files. Maps of legal traps spread out like battle plans. Bogus liens? Felony territory, sue for harm plus costs. Penalties crushing. Our discussions stretching late, fueled by determination and black coffee. Pushed county probe on route flip. Transparency breach. Risking funds. Engineers scrambling fixes. Admissions coming in hushed tones. Flagged her unlicensed ops to revenue. $23,000 back taxes owed. $10,000 per unlicensed hit stacking high. The numbers adding up. Like ammunition. Eco-inspector chuckled at the setup, grandpa'd and pristine, noting false reports as criminal waste, eyeing Karen's meddling. His clipboard notes sealing her fate. Press caught wind. Vet home siege, front-paging the Lakeview Herald. Gate pics stirring outrage. The articles ink fresh as public opinion turned. Neighbors demanded rebates. Commissioner Reeves backed rights. Eco-folks vowed false claim hunts. Momentum building like a wave cresting. But spotlight unhinged her. Cheap lawyers cease desist accused my rights as harassment, the document's flimsy feel. Mocking her panic. Sleepless, I unearthed her split docs at 2:47 a.m., puzzle snapping. Alimony hinged on value. Below threshold meant permanent cut, plus $67,000 repay, her home over-leveraged. Foreclosure ticking, $180,000 owed X. My sure her valuation savior. Fees her float, schemes phased. Harassed to sell, squat if absent. Tax grab cheap. The revelations flooding in like dawn light piercing. Darkness, not tyrant, but sinking ship thrashing. Fee survival, not empire. Revelation shifted from crush to shield and expose. My strategy refining with this insight. Allies assembled. Emily for title clear. $2,000 nuke on claims. Agnes with archived frauds and ancient easements. Her stories adding layers of history. Dave rallying anglers as witnesses, their affidavits piling up. Commissioner Reeves outraged at tarnish. Her support galvanizing official channels. Captain Lopez torching cred with testimony. Her military precision bolstering our front. Plan, title suit. Restraint order, counter for losses and slander. Tax complaints. Subpoena funds proving theft. Neighbor huddle at days for statements. The meeting buzzing with shared outrage. Timeline dossier 4. Pros. Survey stakes. Temp path via Chris. Vet aid funding is precedent. Cams logging all. Each piece interlocking like a well-oiled machine. Porch sunset. Loons calling. I braced for her desperation. Spikes. The air thick with impending clash. Underestimating her unraveling was my slip. Post-meet. She unleashed hell. Hiring a sleazy tail with lens on my moves. Sig reek betraying his hide. His shadow lurking like a bad omen. Bribery surfaced. $5K to road boss for permanent flip, reported swift. The attempt exposing her crumbling ethics. Rumors flew. My discharge fake, valor stolen. Feeds sliming me. The lies spreading like wildfire through local groups. False cop calls on drugs. Deputies wasting patrols. Their eye rolls confirming the pattern. Floods strobing sleep. Dawn mows blaring tunes. Debris blocks. Stakes vanishing. Each act chipping at my patience, but strengthening my case. But calm collected proof. One consent recordings gold. Every harassment cataloged. Meticulously. Twist. Her PI flipped. Coffee chat revealing her plant drugs bid. Recordings of conspiracy. His ethics surfacing amid the steam and nerves. Complaints piled to AG. Social blasts on. Fees. False sense tense as her clocks ticked. The leaves crunching underfoot like her fading control. Sensing her big swing incoming. Reckless and damning. The tension coiling tight. With assessment weeks away and eviction looming, Karen detonated her endgame. A smear blitz rivaling campaigns. Pitching Metro News 5 on PTSD rural terror. Her interview a teary act in pearls. Painting me as unhinged threat, failing systems. The camera lights highlighting her feigned vulnerability. Launched Vets Against Violence site. My face under alarms. Fake quotes on arms hordes. Urging condemnation and eval. The web's anonymity amplifying her venom. VA complaints spun me as bomb. Researched stats twisted cruel. Her desperation palpable in every fabricated detail. Pitched devs my imminent sure rights. Refinanced with bogus assets as collateral, forged docs. Her schemes layering like unstable Jenga. Doorstep $50,000 check, amicable by, wind whispering her. Plea as patriotic growth. The check's legitimacy dubious in the crisp air. But facts countered. Emily fed station my spotless records. Commendations shining. Captain Lopez threatened defamation. Suits. VA flagged frauds as federal bait. Each rebuttal striking like precision fire. Mortgage meddling reported. Her interference banking crime. The net tightening. Community flipped. Dave's packed with truths for reporters. Story pivoting to her con. The turnaround swift and satisfying. Aired expose shredded her tale. Neighbors. Pros backing me. The broadcast echoing through. Homes like a victory cry. November chill carried her defeat scent. Showdown public now. The stage set for final reckoning. November 15th Commission Hall buzzed. Coffee nerves thick. Metro News 5. Rolling, my squad armed. Emily with binders. Dave for biz hits. Agnes proofs. Commissioner Reeves stern. The room's energy electric with anticipation. Karen strutted late, suited sharp. Shaky counsel trailing. Her confidence a brittle mask. Comments opened. She rose queenly, decrying my issues, flashing fakes demanding abandonment. Her voice steady, but eyes darting. County DA. Rose, hammer falling. Probe done. No legit group. Unlicensed ops. Fraud fees. Bribery. Liens. Conspiracy evidenced. AG urging charges. The words landing like blows. Her face ashen. Lawyer whispering. Frenzy. The room holding its breath. I presented calm. Deed 87. Surveys. Bribes taped. Stolen $25,000 banks. Split docs exposing desperation. Theft to save skin. Each exhibit projected for all to see. Room roared. Testimonies flowing. Dave losses. Agnes scam. Refunds demanded. Voices rising in unison. Counsel bailed. Deputy warranted fraud probe. Revenue $47,000 citations. Commissioner Reeves task. Force. The gavel's echo sealing it. She stumbled out. Empire dust. Cameras chasing. Her fall cinematic in its completeness. Aftermath swift. Gate hauled. Route restored. Machinery roar cathartic. The lake's peace returning like a long-lost friend. Guilty plea. $23,000 repay. $12,000 costs. Mansion foreclosed. Her fleeing to city digs. Whispers of her departure a collective sigh. Community co-op. Bloom transparent. Dave booming. Values up HOA free. Bonds forged stronger in the fire. Cabin restore with helpers. With sense healing. Memories alive. Each nail driven with gratitude. Launched Sentinel Heritage. Aiding 47 vet families. $340,000 recovered. 12 scams busted. The initiative growing from personal pain to national shield. Takeaways. Check registrations prepay. Doc all. Surveys save. Lessons etched in every seminar. Festival draws thousands. Rights taught. Laughter mingling with purpose. Legislation toughened notices. Penalties. Copycats crushed. Wed Emily Lakeside. Kin toasting. Vows woven with triumph. Mission expands. Protecting deployed homes. Each case a tribute to Grandpa's legacy. And as I lounge on that mended porch, waves lapping, trucks rumbling home, I know underdogs triumph with law and grit, the stars above witnesses to resilience. But tell me, was this justice served, or does desperation excuse theft? Where's the line between survival and crime? And how far would you go for family land? Share below, let's debate the ethics.